Welcome back to the Stockwell Eldridge Show. Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
And I'm Dawn Eldridge with Remax Results. And if you work with Jason and I, you can always get what you want.
Well, not guaranteed, but yes, we try. Yes, we'll get you close to what you want, within reason, right? That's
well, it's got to be a realistic vision. Yes.
I love it. So that we played that song because that's what's going on right now. Is if you didn't get what you wanted out of the election, some people are happy. Obviously, some people are sad. But just go through the process, cope, recover. Because if you remember, the same thing happened when President Obama got elected. There was a large percent of the population that didn't want him elected, and we still survived. We still coped, and still went through and went on with our lives. The same thing can happen now on the flip side. The people that didn't want Trump in can hopefully get through, cope, and move on with their lives and do something productive with it. Like Ben said, instead of just saying this is that everybody in the world is racist and all that stuff. That doesn't really help anything because clearly, in my opinion, if of all the people that voted for Trump, you can't just say half the nation. Well, maybe you could say, I don't know, half the nation is racist. Who knows? But anyway, we don't need to go down that whole road. But so try to find something positive and move on. And then, you know what? 4 years you can vote again. So that's the good news. For some and for others too. So, but Jack Lee, who is a friend of mine and Steve's from Camp Enterprise. Jack, share with us what you do and what's going on at Voyageur Outward Bound School.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Jason and Dawn. Appreciate you having me on here today. My name's Jack Lee, and I am Dawn's cousin and a friend of Jason and Steve.
Nice.
And it's Jack's birthday.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Happy birthday.
That's right.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. And, I'd say 2 seconds about just myself, kind of a career, because I had a little bit funny career path. First half of my career was in business, and the second half has been nonprofit. So I was in banking in Cincinnati for 4 years, went back and got my MBA from Michigan, and then I spent 9 years out west working for the computer company Intel.
Oh, wow.
And love that. Great company, smartest people I've ever been around. But I was doing some volunteer teaching, and I loved doing the teaching, trying to get 8th graders to pay attention to things like economics and that kind of stuff. And I was the only thing between them and lunch, and they just wanted me gone from there. And so I loved getting ready for those classes, and I started talking to my wife about, you know what, I think I might want to leave business and do something more working with kids. And my wife is awesome, so she said, "Yeah, hey, let's try it." And we were out in Portland, Oregon at the time, and moved back here. And I took a job with Youth Frontiers organization that does anti-bullying programs. Works with about 130,000 kids a year. So Joe Kavanaugh, the guy who's spoken at Camp Enterprise, leads that. So Joe is the CEO, and I was the president there for 10 years. And then I came over to Outward Bound 4 years ago. And so Outward Bound's a nonprofit. Outward Bound is a national organization, and we're kind of the Minnesota location of that. So Outward Bound's been around for 50 years, and the mission of Outward Bound is the basics comes down to the founder says there's more in us than we know. Like, we can do so much more than we think. And the whole point of we do wilderness trips up in the Boundary Waters down here in the cities, and the whole point of it is to show people that they can do way more than they think. And if you can do it out there on a rock face or in a canoe, then you can do it back in your community, back in your home. And so we've got 3 locations. We've got a location up in the Boundary Waters, or on the edge of the Boundary Waters, and actually a location down in Texas, of all places, but that do multi-week programs. And then we have a location down here in the Twin Cities that works with schools and nonprofits. So we've got about 27 nonprofit partners, like organizations serving young people who have been homeless, serving mentoring programs and different things. And again, the whole basics of it is showing people, you know what, you can do way more than you thought. So
is this something where, first, Jack, that's a great situation and story that you actually did what probably many of you out there listening or watching on YouTube want to do. Is if you're in corporate America, it's so hard to go into teaching or something along those lines where you may really see your passion. But just to work that out financially and to make that commitment, and that the risk of loss of leaving that has to be a tough decision. And I know lots of people talk about it, and even our at our church at Wooddale in Eden Prairie, they talk about that following your purpose, even if it means maybe not getting the promotion or at the company that you want, right? I mean, or that you're at, and that's tough, and that's commendable, because it had to be a process and a commitment, right? And a sacrifice.
Yeah, it really is. And it's, I have friends, as you said, Jason, I have friends come up to me all the time who are like, okay, great, I think I'm ready to leave business and I want to do something meaningful. And part of what they're saying is, I'm kind of tired of working, I want, I'm burnt out at General Mills or in different roles. And what I say to them is first of all, you can accomplish your mission in a lot of ways. You could be in business or in real estate or whatever, and you can find other ways to, serve your passion. You don't have to make a big change. But for me, it was a big change. And a mentor of mine, when I said, yeah, I'm going to leave Intel, and at the time I thought I was going to go into teaching. And he said, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And I said, no, I really want to do it. He goes, yeah, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You got our kids at the time were 5 and 3, and he said, you got a good job, you got stock options, you got all this stuff. Yeah. You're going to leave that, and you're going to move across the country with your 2 kids and your dog and your wife. And I said, we'll just try it. And if it doesn't work, I can go back into business. I can do something different. And so we tried it. And as you say, there are trade-offs, and the big one's financial. The other is just kind of getting used to, I'd say, the respect that you get as someone in nonprofit versus someone who maybe is working for a technology company or something. But you go, okay, am I willing to make those trade-offs? And if you are, then you stick it out. And if not, But for me, it was not an easy thing. We're still figuring it out, but it's the best thing I've ever done.
Nice. And you're obviously happy with it, and you're doing well with it. And,
absolutely, yeah.
And so what's for Outward Bound, is that for adults and children, or is it more geared towards children? And then what is some of the outcomes that come from it, from a perspective of, is it for troubled people, or is it just for anybody, or what's kind of the target?
Yeah, so I'd say the main grouping that we would serve, Jason, would be between 14 and 18. And it's really for anybody.
Which are mostly troubled, right? I mean, at some level.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, I mean, that's what, because someone says, hey, you're with Outward Bound, don't you guys work with the really challenging kids? And you go, okay, well, first of all, I know a lot of, anybody who's in their teens is challenging. I'm 52.
Yeah.
But, so we work with just anyone, but we also have specific programs around kids that are not making great choices, that might be on a path toward treatment or something. We also have a program that serves veterans, so veterans who have come back from Iraq or Afghanistan, and those are amazing. Those are like 6-day dog sledding trips, and those vets are just incredible. And so that's a real specific one. And then also for programs for adults, which we call kind of life career renewal. So kind of like what I did, we're thinking about, hey, what's my next step? And as I said, the whole point of it is to help people understand that, wait a minute, there's a lot more in you than you realize. We keep telling ourselves, I bet I can do this much. And the reality is, no. You can do way more than that. You just keep telling yourselves, I can only do this much. So if we can give them an opportunity to see in an easy environment to get out of their comfort zone. And so if you think about what's the number one thing that people say that they come out of our programs with is confidence. So you say,
that's big, yeah,
wow,
especially for teenagers, I imagine. Yeah.
Yep. And then so that's our program up north, and the program down in Texas is similar. And then here in the Twin Cities, again, it's working with more urban youth, or maybe young adults who have been homeless. And so, what they say is, hey, if someone's been homeless and there's a great organization called Youth Link, great organization in Minneapolis serving young adults who have been homeless. And what they say is, hey, we can find them housing, but if they've been homeless for 5 years, if you just find them housing and you don't change anything else, it's probably not going to be successful. And so what our program with them does is help them change the way they see themselves and kind of reframe how they see themselves so they can feel like, wait a minute, I can make this change. I can make a difference. So that's our whole thing, is helping people kind of reframe how they see themselves, see possibilities, see their potential, and then challenge them to go out and recognize that.
So are there scholarships available for people to do this, or is there a cost to it?
Yeah, so most of our programs up north on cost, you could say, about $150 a day, so they're not cheap. But we've got about $250,000 in scholarships that we give away for those programs down here in the Twin Cities. It's kind of the organizations that we work with that are paying for them, and what we do is down here, most organizations we work with, they can't pay a full amount, so they pay kind of half, and we go fundraise the other half of it. So yeah, if you think scholarships, this year we'll give away in total about $800,000 in scholarships.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that
Really
is
great.
the website, folks. If you're listening or interested or and you guys do, is this adults or companies ever do anything?
Right now we're just doing a little bit with companies. We'll start in the next year doing more with companies.
Okay,
but,
like
yeah,
team building and things like that. So
team building, those kinds of
that's VOBS.org, right? VOBS.org for more information. Jack Lee's the executive director there at Voyageur Outward Bound School. And Steve and I volunteered at Camp Enterprise, which is for high school students as well, especially ones that don't have really business in mind, to show them that business can, if you're thinking of art and you want to be an artist or you want to be a writer or political science or whatever you're doing, that the Camp Enterprise, which is put on by the Edina Rotary every year, is to try to show that business is used in all that stuff, right? And I think Voyageur and other organizations like that have come out to do the intro to get people to know each other right away, because you can bond and connect immediately when you're doing something like this with Voyageur Outward Bound. So, well, thanks, Jack. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned.